Right, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. And it's December. So let's talk about horror movies. In October, I watched 31 horror movies, one for each day. And I did a series on my TikTok about it. Which you should go follow, by the way, just man, Dudgy on TikTok. Yeah. And I wanted to make a video talking about all the movies I watched. Last year, I made a video where I reviewed all of them. But this year I'm going to switch it up and talk about the series as a whole. And some movies that I really liked and really hated. Also, this video will be split into different parts, so if you want to skip to another section, there's timestamps down below. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Before I move on to talking about the movies, I want to talk about the ratings I gave all the movies. Here is a pie chart I made in Excel. Totally did not take me 5 hours to find out how to make it. And as you can see, I gave most movies a 7.5 or an 8. But there's still a lot of 8.5s and 9s in there as well. This is basically what all the ratings mean, by the way. So, just have a look at that. As you can see, most movies were either okay or good. So it wasn't as painful as last year, where I dreaded to even go near the Blu-ray cupboard, unless it was a soft film. Most films gave me some enjoyment, and I did find some very good films this year, which I am now going to go over. This year, I gave a lot of 9 and 8.5s, so I'm going to talk about my favourite movies I watched this year. First up is Now, this film is very different from what I thought it would be. It's still a great movie. The plot twist at the end was good. The masked guy standing outside the whole time was creepy. I liked the fact that they actually stood up for the guy in the house, and it was a good movie, I must say. I even bought the second one, but didn't like that one as much. It was a good film with some great action scenes, but it's not really a horror movie. I mean, it is, but it's only because of the masked guys, and that's about it. But I'll allow some sequels in the future. Now, if you didn't realise, I watched 3 films from each franchise before watching this movie. I watched the first 3 Nightmare on Elm Streets and Friday the 13th Part 1, 3 and 4. If you wonder why I didn't watch 2, it's because I watched it last year, and I can safely say I am never watching that movie ever again in my life. Anyway, Freddy vs. Jason was a great movie. It was so cool to see 2 horror icons going head to head. I can admit at some points it was a bit different, but overall it was a good film and I really enjoyed it. And my next favourite I watched the day after this, actually.
See, what you have to ask yourself is, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, sees miracles? Or do you believe that people just get lucky?
Where do I begin with signs? Almost anyone that's seen this movie must know what I'm talking about. This is one of my favourite movies ever. Not even being restricted to horror there, just one of my favourite movies ever. It could probably have its own video. If you haven't seen this, you need to watch this, like now. Well, after the video. And after you like and subscribe. This is just an incredible movie, and you need to watch it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, on to the next one. Jeepers Creepers 2. If I was to say slash film of a monster that eats humans and has killed hundreds throughout history, how do you think that movie plays out? Big disposable cast that gets slowly hunted down? Yeah, that's Jeepers Creepers 2. Now, even though the kids on the school bus is the main plot of the movie, we still have the dad and his son chasing down the creeper for the death of his other son at the beginning of the movie. And there's also a scene near the end where the creeper and the dad just stare at each other, or the dad points a spear gun at him. Kind of sounds like a Deathslinger match. And this scene is just so much better if you play the final countdown. Just start it right here and the scene becomes 10 times better. Even though I love Jeepers Creepers 2, I still must give Jeepers Creepers 1 some credit. It's a different take on the story and not what I was expecting, and it does have a lot of creepy moments. I just prefer the second one. Now that's all of my personal favourite movies. There were 3 other movies I gave a 9, such as Scream, Scream 3 and The Shining, but they all speak from themselves, I'll say. Except Scream 3. But I just love Scream 3. It's my favourite Scream movie. Deal with it. Anyway, let's move on to the movies that I disliked. Not so much hated, unless you're this film. Scream 6. Now, even though I gave this a 7, I still don't like this movie. I didn't mind Scream 5, but this one just feels lackluster. Like there's something missing. Maybe it's the fact there's no Dewey or Sydney. Maybe it's the fact that the film has a stupid beginning. Maybe it's the fact that the Ghostface killers just didn't seem interesting at all. There's something just about this film I didn't like, and it didn't feel the same as the others. Now, I said earlier in the video that I watched some Jason and Freddy movies before watching, well, Freddy vs. Jason. This was one of them. Even though I gave it a 7.5, I'd probably lower it down to a 7 just because I didn't find this film very impressive. There are some cool scenes, but just the whole idea of the film just feels a bit flawed to me. Like Freddy possessing this random kid that lived in Nancy's house to terrorize the town just didn't seem very on brand with the franchise. Now, even though I only watched 2 movies, the first and the third movie had a connection. Well, it was through Nancy, but like, you know what I mean, it's still similar. But I just wasn't really a fan of this movie. I'd probably put it a bit more lower on the scale, but you know, it still wasn't that bad.
Leave me alone! Jill, this is Sergeant Sacker. Listen to me. We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. A squad car's going over there right now.
Now, this is the one that's awful. I've been hinting at this movie the whole video, but it's just, I can't describe how bad this movie is. The first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes are quite good, I must say. But the rest of the movie makes absolutely no sense. It can literally just be skipped, and you'll have missed almost nothing. If you're going to watch this, watch the first, 15 minutes, and then skip to the last 10 minutes. Because there's no point in watching the rest. Although I will be watching the remake next year. So, I've talked about all the movies I liked and disliked. I've also made a little graph to show the ratings, as you can see here. There's a sudden dip over here. You know, I literally just explained why. And you know, it seems relatively smooth throughout it all. You know what I mean? Little height there for signs, but you know, it still feels relatively the same. And with that, I've said everything I wanted to say about all the movies I watched in October. Sorry for the late video again. I made a post saying just I was horrendously ill for 2 weeks and, you know, couldn't really make any of the videos. And I'm just catching up on all of them now. They will come out, hopefully by the end of the year, but, you know, that's a fingers crossed thing. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button so I can stay motivated to make the videos I promised you all. And with all that said, I'll see you all next time, and goodbye.